Good evening, guys. Good evening. Thank you for joining to another live stream. Right, today we are going to go through some of the PS4 JavaScript programmer section. I think I scheduled this live stream to go specifically on the structural type system. Right, guys. So I hope you all had a good day, fun with coding, and of course myself, I was working as well. So today I was working on some of the database side changes where we are using the type ORM. So I had to play with some of the TypeScript data entities, and then of course mapping that to the database. That was fun, challenging. I enjoyed working with the TypeScript and also looking into the different tech stack. So I hope you guys had a good time as well. So I know we all are tired, it's a working day, but still I always prefer to spend some time, my personal time, learning something new. And these days my favorite is, guys, TypeScript. And to be honest, I would say I found TypeScript very interesting. Looking at this type system, I always preferred flexible languages like JavaScript because it's kind of lightweight and we have more of the functions in a way that we can work with, focus on more of the logic, guys. I know there are other languages as well, but personally like JavaScript, and especially because I remember I jumped into the while I was working the BlackBerry, we had to do some sort of a cross-platform time, if you guys remember. It's probably many years ago, and I remember I used to work with PhoneGap, which was purely based on JavaScript. So although I worked on the web application and also, but I found real practicality when I started to work with the PhoneGap with the SDKs and all. So yeah, with the TypeScript layer, guys, because I found in JavaScript, of course, we had some potential that we get some human error bugs, and we had to do lots of testing with the unit testing and all. But with the TypeScript, adding this layer of compile time safety made it more close to languages like Java, kind of, not 100%, but more kind of giving that safety net as well. So that's why I prefer and spending some time learning new stuff with the TypeScript. So please, guys, if you have something new, if you find anything I'm making a mistake or something, please share it. And as I say, these all sessions are personal sessions and we are trying to kind of learn by each other. So yeah, let's dive in, guys. So I just want to go short section, keep this live sessions very short as well, because we have to start another tomorrow with our commercial working with the software products. So let's go through this section, and it's about the structural type system, but this is from the perspective of JS programmers. So let's see what it's saying here. So it says one of TypeScript core principle is that type checking focuses on the shape that values have. This is sometimes called duck typing or structural typing. So I really like to pick these terminologies as well, because that will ease me to differentiate it from the nominal typing we mostly find in the languages like Java. So here, duck typing or structural typing, we can use any term, but it's more about it's saying it focuses on the shape that values have. So if you have an object, I think what it's trying to say is more towards the shape of the object with the properties and its types. That's the priority it's giving. So in a structural type system, if two objects have the same shape, they are considered to be of the same type. I think, guys, this piece is very, very important. So how we determines whether objects belongs to what types is based on the shape of the object. So in other words, the properties of that object. So they have given an example. We'll try that out as well. I think key points to pick from personally for me is the terminology, duck typing and structural typing. And other part is that TypeScript is structural type system, and in a structural type system the type is determined by the shape of the objects. So if two objects have the same shape, regardless of the name given, they comes to as the same type in the context of the structural type system. So let's try this out, guys. So I'm going to this example here. I'm just checking whether you guys can see as well. Yeah, that's all good. And we have given an interface point. We got the shape x number, y number, and we have log point, which takes a parameter of point. And here we are passing a variable. We haven't tagged it with any kind of a type. So if we go here, it doesn't say it's point. I mean, it says point variable, but it doesn't tag or annotate as point interface type, right? I mean, just to make it a little bit change, I'll mark it as point 2D so we can keep the terminology intact. So right, so we have this point, but it's not point 2D. But still we can pass into the log point, which actually takes the point 2D. Now, so anyone coming from the nominal kind of typing background, this might feel a bit weird because we are not tagging this point variable as point 2D type, but still we can pass it into the point 2D type. So I think this is the point of that shape of the object, ultimately what determines the type. So here, since this point 2D only takes x and y and both are number, and this variable has both x and y number type, is still happy to take that in as a point 2D. So I think that's the structural typing. And what we can do is we can do a little experiment. Let's add another point. Let's say it's a 3D point. Let's add it, I don't know, guys, any number, 15. And still it's not complaining. Now definitely this shape is different, x, y, z, and all the number types. And point 2D only have x and y. But this object satisfies this point 2D shape because it has all the properties it needs, x and y. Of course it has extra, but still TypeScript happy to accept this as a point 2D. And that's duck typing, structural typing, the shape, what matters. So as far as it's matches the minimum shape, what needs by the particular type, any object, then it's okay. So here, x and y satisfy point 2D. The c, it just ignores this. I mean, it doesn't need it. Eventually, what we are trying to print out is the x and y. So that's super cool, guys. I think it's something we get in this type system, and I think it will be nice for us to understand how it works, because sometimes we can pass something not related to the type name or doesn't make sense with the type name, and it still the code will be with no errors. And I don't like surprises, and I mean, if you understand what happened in the structural type system, then it won't be a surprise for us. And yeah, I think for me it's convinced this is how it works, and I can see the point they're trying to make. I hope for you guys as well. I mean, if you guys have any extra points, please feel free to share. I would like to learn from you guys as well. And right, so let's go back and let's go through the explanation they have given. So they are saying here, the point variable is never declared to be a point type. However, TypeScript compares the shape of point to the shape of point type or the interface, which we turned as point 2D, type check. They have the same shape, so the code passes. So I think, guys, it's confirming the understanding we got by playing the code. So that's super cool, guys. So it's all about down to the shape. If the shape passes, if the shape is okay, then the code passes. The shape matching only requires a subset of the object's field to match. That's That's a key point, guys. I love that statement, and it's just one liner and clarifies everything. The shape matching only requires a subset of the object's field to match. So in our case, the example we tried XYZ, only the subset X and Y were required, not C. So that subset matched with the point 2D type we defined. So I mean, I love it, guys, how it explained here, and it's really to the point. And I really like this documentation, and especially, I mean, it's a bit scattered around, but if we a little bit play around, we can find the key points here and there. And if we spend like little time, like knowledge sharing, like we're doing now, I'm sure we all can get together and understand this documentation and get a key understanding of the stuff. And of course, guys, we are not spending more than half an hour or so extra our time, so I think it's worth it to have some education time for all of us, especially with our busy life. So guys, in this next section, so it's saying cons point 3, and we have rectangle. We'll try this out, this example as well. So what is trying to say, we have interface point and we have lock point, as earlier we tried out. What else we are having? Oh, we have the point 3 XYZ, the same thing we tried out. It's happy with that. It just logs out 12 and 26, so it's a subset of the object. It's confirmed that. And we have this rectangle XY, width and height, and we are passing that into the lock point, which takes a point type. So the shape matches the subset, so it works fine as well. But guys, if we try to pass color, it's errored. So because of course we can see not even a subset matches with the shape of the point. So what it says here, the error message, argument of type hex string is not assigned to parameter of type point. Type hex string is missing the following properties from type point X and Y. I love it, guys. This feedback is super awesome. It's really helpful, and I mean, rarely we found this kind of technical feedback, right? We sometimes get like nasty error messages, but TypeScript is super clever. I mean, personally, I believe by looking at this kind of message, it clearly says what parts are missing, how we can fix it, and easy. So if you want to fix this color thing, I would just be lazy and just copy these things here. So now it's fixed, because we got the subset we needed for the type point. Super cool, guys. So I'm sure you guys are sharing the same excitement as mine. I mean, I'm just kind of because as the background I said, I've come from the Java and JavaScript, so mixed together I find good of both worlds, so it works perfectly harmoniously fine. Alright guys, let's go back. I want to keep this short as much as possible. I'm sure we all need a little bit break. So guys, just the last section, let's do this part as well. So there is no difference between how class and object conforms to shapes. So if the object or class has all the required properties, TypeScript will say they match regardless of the implementation details. That's a good point, guys, because now we've been playing with all the interfaces, but here it's about the classes, because in the classes we have some implementation details as well, like methods or functions, whatever the terminology you guys prefer. So we have the point here, same example up to here, but here virtual point, we have X and Y, and now we can pass an instance of virtual point into the log point. Right, so I like to play around. I just add the C parameter here as well. Let's see what the feedback would be. Honestly, I don't even know. Let's try it out. Right, so we need to add that into the constructor here. What it says here, the feedback. No initializer, so let's do that initializer here. It's not that bad, so I will just put it here. So Z, and let's fix that long. So that looks good, but now virtual point is complaining. Of course, we don't have the Z value, so we'll put it here, something 20. Let's check the subset concept still applies. Looks like it, guys. So we have an extra property z here, but the subset still matching with the log point. That's perfect. And what else we can do? Shall we try to add some sort of a function here, saying print? Yeah, console. No, let's just print out one thing for now. Let's type hello for now. So yeah, it still looks alright because still the subset is matching. So yes guys, I think it's kind of following the same concept like we tried with the interfaces. Now we tried with the class and interface, the same concept regardless of what kind of implementation we have. It's fine. It matches with the subset of the properties or the shape of the object that required by this point interface. So perfect guys, I think we are at the end of that section. I think that's more than enough for today to go through. I think we captured lots of information and I hope you guys learned something new as well. And for me personally, that's, I don't know, 20 minutes or so gave me a good refreshment to my head, and it's my personal time I'm contributing to this one for my personal growth of knowledge in the technology. But yes guys, so hopefully we'll meet up in another live session, and guys feel free to share anything you guys have, any extra information here. I would love to hear back from you and also learn something new as well. It's all about knowledge sharing. So let's catch up in another live session, and thank you very much for joining during a working day and your extra personal time. And I believe like me, you all are passionate about technology as well. That's why you guys joined to this session, and also that's why I'm running this session as well. So if you guys have sessions as well, please let me know. I'm happy to join as well. So guys, thank you very much for joining again, and I'll catch you in another session. Good night.